there, Ken Fisher here with another Photoshop quick tip. Now it's always a problem when we make composites that the base images were taken under different lighting conditions. So how do we combine them so they look like they were shot together under the same light? Well, here we have an example. Here we've got a background image that has a strong blue colour cast. And over here we've got an image of a model. Just zoom that out a bit. That was taken in the studio. So clearly the model image is much warmer in nature because of the studio lighting, and they don't fit together. But let's combine them and have a look. So I'm going to get my move tool, I'm going to click and drag and drop it into position. And then we'll transform, Control and T, we'll use the Shift key to make sure it transforms in proportion, and we'll place something like that. Double click to accept. Clearly they don't match. The model is far too warm. So what can we do? Well, there is a technique where we use the average blur filter. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a copy of this background layer and we're going to run the average blur filter on it. And what that's going to do is work out what the average tone is. And then we're going to blend that average tone into the model. So hopefully there should be a nice fit when we've finished. Okay, let's do it. I'm going to click on my background layer. I'm going to right click and duplicate the layer. Just accept it as background copy. I'm going to drag this to the top of the stack. And then we're going to run the filter on it. So we're going to go to filter and blur and average. And that now is the average colour that Photoshop has worked out from the whole of that image. And I'm now going to blend that by changing the blend mode to colour. And as you can see, it's now blended that colour in over the whole of the image, which isn't what we want. I just want it blending with the model. So this is where we're going to use a clipping mask. So I'm going to hold the Alt key down and I'm going to hover over this area here, and when I see that little symbol I'm going to click, and now you can see this little symbol here. This is now clipped, so this average blur filter is only affecting the layer underneath it. Okay, now if I drop the opacity of that layer right down to 0, I'm back to where I started. That blue has having no effect on the image. But what I can do now is I can increase the opacity, and I can get to a point where I think I've got a fairly good match. That's too far. If I just drop it back a little bit, because it just wants to be a little bit subdued, and I think that's pretty good. So if I just switch it on and off here, so that's before, a bit too warm, and that's after, I think more in keeping with the background image. So that's it. How to blend two images together that were shot in different lighting conditions with the assistance of the average blur filter and blending modes.